We don't need roads.
The NES may have not been the first video game console, but it was certainly a revolution. This console started some great series that later branched away from Nintendo. Final Fantasy, Metal Gear, and Castlevania, just to name a few. Now, I was born in 1987, a couple years after the NES came out, and I didn't start playing games until I was 3, around the time that the Super Nintendo came out. Fortunately though, my mom and dad bought me the NES first, and God bless them for it! So now for the rules. If a game from a series is picked, a game from the same series can't be picked. And only games I've played can be picked.
Hey, are you ready to Mario time?
This is Crow of Murder 15's Top 10 NES Games.
Now you're playing with power.
What better way to start off this list than with a little animal abuse? Duck Hunt's a pretty simple game. You just shoot ducks with your zapper gun to move on to the next level. Another cool thing is this is secretly a 2-player game. If you plug in a controller to the player 2 slot, a second player can actually control the duck. The only reason this is so low on the list? Need I say more?
Now you're playing with power.
So what do you get when you cross a beat-em-up style game with some RPG elements? River City Ransom. The story's a bit weird. You play as Alex or Ryan and try to rescue River City High and Ryan's girlfriend from a gang leader named Slick. You can also increase your stats throughout the game by buying various items from shops. Man, this story kinda sounds like something from Scott Pilgrim.
This is the best St. Joel's could muster.
That's not what your mom said last night!
Now you're playing with power.
Skeletons, zombies, and bats, oh my! Castlevania is one of the games that helped start the demon-slaying style of gaming. You play as Simon Belmont, a descendant of the Belmont clan that's destined to fight Dracula over and over and over and over again! And your all-powerful vampire-slaying weapon is a whip. Wonder if he borrowed it from Indiana Jones. There's also a few sub-weapons that can be used as well, my favorite being the clock. So yeah, the Belmonts have slain Dracula before, but let's see them kill this vampire.
Who is it? Oh, you know. A real f***ing vampire.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Now you're playing with power.
Now, if you ignored the box art and instruction manual for this game, you'd think Contra was just a basic shoot-'em-up against terrorists. Well, you'd be wrong. The only thing that really confused me about this game is why would you only send in 2 soldiers against an alien invasion? Not only is Contra fun and challenging, but it also gave birth to one of the greatest video game codes of all time, the Konami code. It's still used to this day, and you can even put it into websites to get some Easter eggs.
Now you're playing with power.
Yep, we're back at the Turtles. This time it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game for the NES was an absolute nightmare. The second one was okay, but this one perfected the system for the NES. So Shredder is up to his evil ways once again, capturing April O'Neil and turning the whole city of Manhattan into a floating island. The levels are awesome, and you get to fight a lot of villains from the cartoon series. Man, with April O'Neil getting kidnapped, you'd think the Turtles learned how to rescue her from Mario and Link.
Excuse me, princess.
Now you're playing with power.
While we're on the subject of ninjas, originally an arcade game in 1988, Ninja Gaiden follows the story of Ryu Hayabusa, a ninja that travels to America to avenge the death of his father and stop a man named the I don't know how to pronounce that. from taking over the world.
Of course!
The gameplay is very similar to Castlevania, but this is a ninja we're talking about.
Believe it!
Hey Jason, thanks for reminding me to get more shotgun shells.
Now you're playing with power.
A lot of people give this Zelda game crap because it's the most different from the rest of the Legend of Zelda games, which is why I like it. Not only did they transform it into an RPG-style platformer, but it also is the first time Ganon isn't the main bad guy, even though if you get a game over you see a silhouette. And it's also the first Zelda game to introduce Dark Link. Last but not least, it gave me one of my favorite sayings from video games. If all else fails, use fire.
Now you're playing with power.
Crossovers in video games weren't really popular around this time. But this game changed all that. Battletoads and Double Dragon, the ultimate team. The story's a little bizarre, but it teams up two of my favorite video games. The game style focuses more on the Battletoad system, but there's still a lot of elements from Double Dragon. Man, they really need to do a remake for Battletoads. Ahem! Once again, talking to you, Rare.
Now you're playing with power.
In 1988, one of the greatest game franchises was perfected. Mega Man 2. Arguably, one of the best video games ever. This is not my pick. This one goes to Mega Man 4. So in Mega Man 4, a man named Dr. Cossack claims that he's the greatest inventor ever and challenges Mega Man by creating 8 Robot Masters and tries to... well, you know.
Of course!
Shut it! This is also the first Mega Man game to use the Charge Shot. It has 2 of my favorite Robot Masters, Skullman and Pharaoh Man. You know, they should have made a Crow Man.
Now you're playing with power.
Mario! Mario!
He's back. All you had to do was ask. Super Mario Bros. 3 from
Now I'm sure it seems very stereotypical to put a Mario game at number 1 for a Nintendo list, but it deserves it. This is probably one of the greatest video game sequels ever made. Super Mario Bros. 2 was a close second, but we all know that story. So Bowser has once again captured Princess Peach, and it's up to Mario to save her. This game brings a lot of new stuff to the table. New power-ups, new worlds, and new enemies, including one of my favorites. It was everything Mario fans wanted and more. And that's why Super Mario Bros. 3 is my number 1 NES game. I'm Crow of Murder 15. Now let's go rescue the princess.